Bigger the brand, the bigger the vision. We set up a time with his agent and I have 30 minutes to pitch him. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy, he gets pitched on the daily. Sat down and said, hey, Kevin, I've seen everything you've done. Tell me what's your vision for your brand. And your vision goes from there and you're just like, look how much more I can possibly do. We just put limits on ourselves. On my own, I've failed miserably. Everything I've ever read, you have to surround yourself with successful, good people.
This is the Mr. Burr Show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today is going to be an exciting one. It's when it comes to business and really life, your success is built on how you can connect with other people and build relationships. The person I have on today has got a superpower when it comes to networking, building relationships. I mean, for crying out loud, one of his business partners is, you guys might have heard of him, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. So, dude, I'm excited to get into his story, how he actually goes about networking, building relationships, cultivating them, and how that's helped his business. But also, I think this man might be the only person I know that has more Jordans than I do. So, without further ado, Sean Finnegan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Burr. Appreciate it very much, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get into kind of your strategies, your tactics.
Yeah.
But first, let's kind of just get into the importance of networking. Because you speak so eloquently on this. Like, why is it so important to be a good networker?
Yeah. So I talk to business owners all the time, and I always ask them, hey, how do you find customers? The most common thing I hear is word of mouth.
Right.
Or, hey, referral based is what I do. But most business owners aren't great at that piece.
Right.
So if that's really driving traffic for your company, then you should really hone in your craft. Because you imagine if you became really good at making those connections and that network, what it could do for your business. And so that's why I'm so big on it. It's like no brainer.
And because word of mouth, it's free advertising, right?
Yeah, for sure.
As business owners, we always think like, I got to pump more into the business. I got to put more. What's my ROI on this?
That's right.
When if you can just network, it's free.
That's right.
So, so awesome. So kind of get into then how that worked out with Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's get into that story.
Yeah. So the very first time I met Kevin, so I've been around him quite a bit, and the bigger the brand, the bigger the vision. So for you personally, your brand, TikTok, I've seen all your stuff. Like, I think you've had such a great vision for what you've done, and look at how it's exploded.
Thank you.
And look what you've done on TikTok, everything else, and I think it's because of that great vision. And so the best thing you can do is, so the first time I met him, set up an appointment, I had like 30 minutes is all, and I had to go to Toronto. So he's out of Toronto and Miami. So we set up a time with his agent, and I have 30 minutes to pitch him. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy, he gets pitched on the daily. Literally, I'll give you an example. One time, he had to go get his laptop fixed, and he was speaking at Harvard. So he had to go to a mall and get his laptop. Between the parking lot and the computer store, I think he got pitched 30 times.
Oh, wow.
And here's how
just random people walking by.
Yeah, random people. So here's how the pitch sounded. Hey, Mr. Wonderful, I got this business. I want you to do 30 different times. And he just keeps walking because he's used to it. But I got to thinking, before I met Kevin, is like, hey, I don't want to be like everyone else and just kind of pitch him on my ecosystem.
Right.
I have 30 minutes. Do I really want to spend the 30 minutes just talking about how great my ecosystem is and why he should jump aboard my ecosystem?
Right.
And the bigger the brand, the bigger the vision. And so I remember landing there. It was like 10 degrees below zero in Toronto. It was so cold. Literally, I had to walk 2 blocks, and I think my brain froze. So I was already freaked out because I have 30 minutes. And a lot's riding on this relationship. But we were pitching him at the time to get on stages, sell tickets, promote him, entrepreneur training. And so I had 30 minutes to go present to him. And I'm pretty nervous because, what if I dork it up in 30 minutes?
Right.
And so I was like, I know I'm not going to go in there and pitch like everyone else pitches. And so I remember walking 2 blocks, freezing. My head's literally frozen solid. And I go into, he's got a cool office. He's got this whole hallway with guitars. He's a big guitar player.
I didn't know that.
So if you watch any of his, just pull up some. He's He's played at the White House in his band. Like, he's a true guitarist.
I know he's a watch guy.
He's a watch guy
Just
for sure.
didn't know he was a guitar
At
guy.
his
Okay.
heart and soul, he loves guitar.
Nice.
And at one point early on in his life, his dad basically said, put the guitar away so you can go make some money somewhere. But at one point, he wanted to be a rock star.
Oh, wow.
So anyways, his whole thing is just filled with guitars, everything else. And I was like, what can I say to him that would really get a good engagement out of it? And I said, I'm not going to go in there and lead off with my ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I sat down and said, hey, Kevin, I've seen everything you've done. Tell me what's your vision for your brand. Where are you going to take this brand? What are your plans for the future? And then it's like Stephen R. Covey said, seek to understand first
Yes.
and then to be understood. I wanted to understand. And of course, with his big brand, he has a big vision. And I hear all the stuff he's doing.
Right.
And he's talking about his ecosystem. And while he's talking about his ecosystem, I'm like, I want to promote him on stages that could help him in this, that could help him in this, that could help him in this. And while he's presenting his vision, I can then seek to understand, right? And then to be understood. And I can go back in and say, now this is what we can do. This is how we can fit into your world, not the other way around.
How you can plug yourself in. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, so what was a 30-minute presentation turned into 2 hours?
Oh, wow.
Because he just spent the time to really lay out. And then from his perspective, he's like, this person really understands what I'm trying to accomplish. And I can see how they can actually help me in my mission, in my vision for what I'm doing.
Wow. A lot of people don't know this about me, because I agree 100% what you're saying. The strategy you used is something that I did early on in business. I left my job October of 2019, October 8th. I circled it in my calendar.
Right.
I was elated.
Yeah.
Just,
Walked out.
woo, I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And didn't know what that entailed.
It's
But
like
just knew.
heading towards the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who says that?
That's his Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah. So, yeah, heading toward the abyss. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, but I was just elated, right?
Right.
So I didn't know what to do. I'm in my house for like 2 months, hadn't left my house, didn't make $1, obviously, because I hadn't left my house.
Yeah.
More hands you shake, the more money you make.
For sure.
Right? So someone told me, they're like, dude, why don't you just go to networking events? You want to do real estate, just go to events. You're a people person, just go talk to people. And do you know Pace Morby?
Oh, sure.
So
yeah.
Pace,
Big brand.
We become pretty good friends.
Yeah.
Pace is an awesome dude.
Yeah.
One of his biggest words of advice was, dude, don't try to be interesting, be interested. Just be interested in the other person.
Right. It's really good.
Because then most people, they want to talk about themselves. Right?
Yeah.
And if you're interested in them, they're just going
Right.
to open up and keep talking about themselves.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's when you can start filling in the blanks of what you can do to help them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, man, I really like this guy. He
Yeah.
really wants to help me.
Right.
He lets
Yeah,
me
it's
talk
true.
about myself.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is just being interested, asking questions.
No, I love that.
So, dude, I agree 100%. I've seen it in my own life. So, guys,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, rewind that and listen to it again, because Sean gave you an absolute gem. Absolute gem. How did you put it?
So I think, well, it's the Stephen R. Covey. Seek to understand first.
Okay.
First, seek to understand and then to be understood.
Got
It's
it.
actually the most common thing people say is like, they know they need a network. They know they want to do word of mouth. They know they want to get referrals.
Yeah.
But the most common thing I always hear is like, well, how do I do it? Like, how would I go up to Devin Burr and who's got a great brand and who's TikTok and is crushing it? What can I possibly say that's going to interest that person?
Right.
Like I spoke to a bunch of salespeople a few months ago, and that was the most common thing. It's like, what do I say to them?
Yeah.
Do I just launch into a pitch? And the answer is no on that.
Yeah.
I'd go up to Devin Burr and it's like, hey, what are you working on right now?
Yeah. Just an open-ended question. That's
My
it.
most common question. Hey, what are you working on right now?
That's it.
Yeah. And then you're going to tell me what your vision is.
Yeah.
And I can actually ask you more follow-up questions and begin a conversation.
Tell me if you agree with this. This is something that I've found over becoming more successful, getting into bigger rooms, associating with people. Like I've been around billionaires now. Is Kevin O'Leary's a billionaire, isn't he? Or
I think he's pretty close.
if
Yeah.
not, he's
Yeah.
really close.
Yeah.
Right? So in our minds, we think these people are just some crazy, like supernatural person.
Yeah.
It's a regular person.
It is.
They have bad days just like us.
100%.
They have good days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
they're just a person.
That's right.
They might run at a different speed because they've figured things out and they've become efficient with their life.
Yep.
But it's just a regular person.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I've had people come up to me and introduce themselves, and they're like, "I can't believe I'm meeting you." I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah.
I'm just a normal guy."
Right. 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So, do you agree with that? It's like
100%.
getting over the fear of just introducing yourself is
Yeah.
half the battle,
Right.
right?
It's like I think a lot of people. It's generally what I see most often is the start that stops people.
The start that stops people. Okay.
So it's like I don't want to approach you at an event because XYZ. So it doesn't matter what it is in your business.
Yeah.
It's the start. It doesn't matter. It's like that start, just going up and actually saying, "Hey, Devin, it's an honor. I love watching your stuff. What are you working on right now?"
That's it.
Most people won't do that. So it's like getting that start, and they have a whole list of reasons why they don't want to do that.
Yep.
Oh, I can't do that. Have you seen his TikTok stuff? Or, oh, I can't do this. Once I get to this point, then I'm going to. It's always once I get to that point, then I'm going to.
Right.
It's just get your start. Just go up to people.
I think the biggest thing is fear.
Yes.
Right? Fear
100%.
fear of what the other person's going to say. You
Yeah.
start coming up with this crazy thing in your head.
Yeah.
And usually what we're afraid of are things that have not happened.
Yeah.
And they probably will never happen.
100%.
It's just
Yeah.
our brain
Yeah.
trying to keep us safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's it. So
Absolutely.
the start, but say that again.
Start that stops you, man.
The start that stops you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So in your mind, just like you said, your brain is trying to keep you safe. You're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
Just put that thought in your mind. The start that stops me. So I'm going to get my start right now. I'm going to go right up to the guy in the room who's got the biggest brand. I'm going to say, "Hey, what are you working on right now?"
Love it.
Right?
Love
and
it.
you'll be surprised. You're at these networking events for a reason. Even you with your brand are at these networking events. You're going to get rejected by someone who's at a networking event to go connect with people.
Yeah, they
It doesn't
want to
happen.
connect.
Yeah. It does not happen. Just like you said, it's not going to happen. You won't get rejected. I never get rejected ever.
Dude, funny story for everybody. My first networking event I went to, this was, so I left Quicken Loans October 2019. First event was December. I forget the exact day. But I'm sitting in my car. And I'm like, I'm scared to death. I'm like, I'm going to go in there. I'm not going to know anybody. Everyone's going to be these uber wealthy individuals. And I'm
Yeah.
just this dude that's leaving a 9 to 5. I've got a little bit of money saved. Like, what can I offer? And I'm
Right.
just in my own thoughts.
Yep.
And I was this close to like turning around, going home, asking for my job back.
Right. I'm sure.
And dude, I went in the room.
That's safety you want to get back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cause thinking everyone's like these crazy people. No, they're
Yeah.
just people trying to connect with other people.
Yeah.
It's just people helping people.
Right.
That's what I tell people all the time. If you can just get to a point where you're just a person helping other people, that's
Yeah.
all, that's what business is.
It is.
People helping people.
Yeah, I agree.
So I got out of my car, went to that event, and then ended
Did
up.
you debate in the car?
Oh, dude, I was in there
It's
for
like,
like
you're in the car, you're just like, open the door once, go back. Open the door. You're like, do I really need to do this? Because
Dude.
it's the imposter thing in your mind. Your mind starts
Yes.
playing tricks. I do not belong in this room.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
And I think back now, and it's like, dude, I probably should have been in bigger rooms. It was
Yeah.
a small little networking
Sure.
event. I
Yeah.
should have got more out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
but I think it's always fear. So guys, if you've had that time where you're at an event and you're just scared to talk to somebody or scared to even go to the event, look at it as if there is no danger involved, what are you scared of?
That's right.
Like, if there's a saber-toothed tiger, if those were real still, let's just say a lion.
One of my all-time favorite animals.
Let's say a lion's in this
Yeah.
room.
Right.
I'm going to be pretty damn scared because they
Yeah.
might rip my head off.
Right.
There's danger.
Yeah, that's real danger.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But like going into a room where
Yeah.
successful people are, there's no danger.
yeah. That's
Just
right.
get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Right?
That's right.
So, dude, I love it. Let's talk about some more strategies. So like
Yep.
if we know that if we go to networking events,
That's right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
How do you find them?
Yeah, so I always tell people step number one, if you really want to, I mean, you have to decide that you want to build your network. You have, if you don't decide that, I work with people. I work with this guy who's a fitness coach for executives. He reached out to me. He's like, "Oh, I want to go to all your stuff and I want to get in and meet a lot of people." So I was like, "Oh, great. I'm happy to align you." So I invited him. No show. Didn't come. Never came. And so if you can't get past that, like it's not easy. I don't think there's any easy path to it. If you decide you're going to do it, that's step number one. Step number two is pull out the calendar and actually start booking.
Yeah.
And I always tell people to start with your phone.
Yeah.
If I were to pull up your phone, you probably have in the thousands of contacts in that phone.
I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a certain percentage of those people are the people you need to talk to, either to sell your product or to do an affiliate deal or to find out what events are going on.
Yep.
It's a great place. So just start with your phone. Start with 5 people a day, Monday through Friday. Text 5 people that might be the alignment you're looking for a day. You'll be shocked at what happens. That's part of the start. It's just getting that phone out and say, hey, I'm going to start with my phone. I'm going to start reaching out to 5 people a day, telling my intention, what my business is, what I'm looking for. And that opens up worlds for you.
So good. So good. Guys, something to piggyback on that. I do this, I should do it more, but I feel like when I do it, my business, my life really takes off. And then I end up not doing it. It's like most things. Like I cold plunge and then body feels great. And then I don't cold plunge for a few days, body hurts.
Yeah, right.
Just cold plunge every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
So something that I really implore you guys to do is text people, but also send them an actual video message.
Love it.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Just a little video message. And it doesn't have to be anything about business.
Right.
It could be, hey, you're just on my mind. Been thinking about you. Hope you've been well.
Yeah.
What's new?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's so much better than just a random text.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
You know?
Yeah.
And
don't you think it hits different when you get a text from someone
Yeah.
who shot you a specific video about you?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's because we don't have time all the time to call people and be on
Yeah.
a drawn out conversation, but
Yeah.
just a quick little video message in the morning.
Yeah.
Hey, thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
What's new? Let me know if I can help with anything.
I think it's brilliant.
That's it.
Brilliant.
You know, so that's huge, guys. And getting into your contacts, that's something people don't do enough,
Yeah.
including
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to take your idea of the video for sure. If you're watching this, just pull your phone out. If you want to go old school, you can go old school with the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Who are the people in your contacts you need to talk to?
Yeah.
And I did this years ago, and I came up with a list of 400 people. And I just went down. I did 10 a day, Monday
Nice.
through Friday. And yours would be next level if you shot a video, but I just reached out to 10 people a day. I mean, you look at that, that's 50 people I just talked to in a week.
Yeah.
And those 50 people are like, oh, you're doing that business?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you got to talk to my friend, or you should come to this event. This is a perfect fit for you. Or, hey, let me introduce you to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? It opens up doors for you.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize that I've got a sphere of influence. You have a sphere of influence. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Whether how big that sphere is, that's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
But everyone has some sort of sphere of influence.
Yeah.
So if I can be introduced to your sphere, my sphere just got bigger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're introduced to mine, yours just got bigger.
Right.
So it all goes back to, guys, I'm telling you, people helping people.
Yeah, so one time, I'll give you an example. One time I was with Kevin O'Leary. We're going into a hotel to check in. As we're driving in, there's this gorgeous couple, and they're a married couple standing out front, and there's a photographer, and you can tell it's like a marriage kind of company is taking these photos.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, hey, pull over. And so the driver pulls over. Kevin pops out and goes and photobombs this couple.
Oh, wow.
And they look back, and there's like Kevin, the Shark Tank guy, and they're like all shocked. Well, it turns out that it's just a wedding company, a wedding planner that's doing a photo shoot for their website. And these are 2 models. I mean, they're gorgeous people. And so Kevin is now
These are going to be
photobombed.
some good-looking kids.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if those 2 actually connected, that would be incredible kids. But Kevin's in the background taking, and then they're like shocked, and everyone's like, wow. And then Kevin takes a picture with them. And then the lady gets in there and takes a picture with them. And she's like, do you mind if I put it on my social that we took a picture with you? And he's like, great. And then when he got back in the car, I was like, Kevin, you have 5 million followers across his platforms. They might have whoever, tens of thousands, maybe 10,000. Why would you take the time out of your busy schedule to go jump out there and take a photo like that and allow them to use that? And his answer was, well, because a certain percentage of those people that follow them will start following my group of 5 million. So even him, he looks for every opportunity, just like you said, community of this wedding group. in his community to just build that community by creating alliances
Yeah.
with others, right? Building relationships.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How is he as like just an individual, just a person?
He's a conversationalist 100%. Like
Yeah.
he can talk to anyone about anything. He's really, really bright. He's got a hard edge on the show if you watch the show.
Yeah.
He's like, if you don't know the numbers, you're dead to me. And his most common question he gets is, why are you so harsh to people sometimes on the show? And his answer is early on, when he first started doing the show, he told someone that was a horrific business and no shot at making it, hey, yeah, it's not for me, but wish you good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the mentors told him is like, you just did that person a disservice. You need to tell that person this is not a good business, because at that point, when they get Shark Tank, they've raised money from Uncle Jack. They've put their home up. They've tried they put all their savings in it. And if a shark or someone at that level can't tell them, hey, this is not a good thing, you should not do this business, then who's
Keep
going to
going.
do that?
Keep going.
All they're going to do is like, they got encouragement, I'm going to keep going. So he uses that. He feels like it's an obligation. If it's a bad, and that's why America agrees with him. You watch it, like you agree when he says, hey, this is not
Yeah.
a good thing. You should walk away. It's a
Yeah.
bad business.
That show, I've heard, I don't know for sure, you'd probably be able to speak better to this, that you see the pitch and it's like 15 minutes. But really, it's like 3 or 4 hours of them just like grilling them on numbers and this S&P, like everything about the business, right? Is that how it really is? It's like a 3-4 hour thing?
So most reality kind of shows it's a big time spent with very little that's cut to makes it. I think this show is actually a little bit different. I've been on the set twice, so I've now seen them. You got extremely busy sharks. They don't have the luxury of spending like 70 hours to get 7 minutes of content or whatever the crazy stuff is.
Right.
So it moves pretty fast. I mean, when I was seeing the pitches, they were like 20 minutes. Now there's hours prep that they meet off stage. They have to go through. There's like literally they do auditions to get to where they are on that. So there's a whole other work.
Got it.
But they have limited time on those sharks, and the sharks take a break in between. It's like 15 minutes, and all the new product comes in, and they reset it, and they're up there. I mean, it's like a 10, 15-minute break, and then they keep going. So in my opinion, it's the most real of the realities.
That's cool. And it probably just, so you've been on the set?
Yeah, twice, yeah.
It probably just fires you up to get to
yeah.
work, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been around some people that are just, they move at a different speed.
Yeah.
And it's just,
yeah.
sometimes like, I feel like I move at a pretty good speed. And then I see these people, I'm like,
yeah.
I could definitely do better.
Yeah.
Right. So how inspiring is that to see that kind of, again, Kevin's your partner. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you get to spend quality time
Right.
with him.
Yeah.
What's it like seeing that?
So you're exactly right. That's how he is. He's the busiest person I know. And you know what? He doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
That's also so impressive to me that he doesn't have to do
He's got so
this.
much passive income at this
He's
point.
got
and-
incredible businesses.
yeah.
So I'm always impressed with that piece. But have you been around someone as like you're busy, I'm busy, but then you're around this person and you feel like a total slacker. Like
Oh yeah.
like he's on calls and everything, and I'm like, I better call Devin and act like I'm busy. You know, it's like, hey, Devin, we're working on this business, you know, because I feel like I'm a slacker literally around this guy.
Guys, I've done this too many times. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
So 2 years ago, Kevin, it's like coming up on December, and I was like, hey, Kevin, do you do New Year's resolution? He's like, yeah, I have one this year. I was like, well, what is it? And he said, I want to be 10% more efficient with my time.
How?
And that's what I asked. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, how is he going to do this? Because when
Yeah.
I saw him, when you're with him, you're like, he doesn't have 10%.
There's no gaps.
Yeah, nothing.
Wow.
So I saw him
Sleepless?
again. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, is he just not going to sleep? Which isn't good.
Right.
So I saw him like in February or March, and I was like, hey, Kevin, how'd it go? How'd your 10% thing go? And he's like, I actually did it. I was able to figure it out. And I was like, well, how'd you do that? And he said he pulled up his schedule. He's looking at his schedule. He's looking for any possible openings. And he realizes in his schedule he has to eat food. And he's like, I'm spending all that time eating food. I can be eating food with someone else and building relationships. So he decided that if he ever travels to San Diego or whatever, his right-hand person, Nancy, will call up a top business owner in San Diego and say, hey, would you like to have dinner with Kevin O'Leary? And then he goes and sets up a prearranged dinner for when he's traveling there anyways. He's going to eat dinner. And so this top business person comes in, they bring in the camera and the crew, and they film content, and he has an incredible conversation with one of the top business people in the city. And he does it everywhere he goes.
Genius.
Yeah,
he's
so
getting
there's his 10%.
He's getting
Yeah,
content.
Content, yeah.
While connecting with someone, building relationships, people helping people, like we
Yeah.
said. While he's doing something he's going to do anyways.
That's right. Yeah.
So if he can figure out how to do all that while he's sleeping, now we're talking.
Yeah, now it's next. I'm curious to see. So I actually took a page out of the book because I said, you know what? I eat also Monday through Friday. I eat during the day. So I made a goal never to have lunch alone. There's actually a book called Never Have Lunch Alone. So 2 years ago, the first thing I feel, when you're looking at your schedule, like all these entrepreneurs fill up their schedule with just gravel and noise a lot of times.
Yeah.
They get in, check email, and like you can spend an hour with someone like doing an affiliate deal, or they might be a fit for your product, or it might be a fresh perspective for you. There's not really necessarily a business alignment,
Right.
but you get mentoring
Right.
and good education for an hour. Why would you not take that hour and spend it with someone incredible?
Right.
So that's the first thing I schedule. If I pulled out my schedule right now, my lunches are done for 3 weeks right now.
Wow.
I never do lunch alone. I've had like 2 reschedules in 2 years.
I like that. That's something I can implement because
Yeah.
I'm always eating lunch for myself.
Yeah.
And I just try to get it down as quick as I can.
That's right.
This way you can take your time, which is actually healthier for you
Yeah.
to take
That's
your time
right.
eating
Yeah.
and build a relationship while you do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Incredible.
Something magical happens when you break bread.
This is true.
Yeah, the walls kind of fall down. I've had some of the best conversation and some of my best business alignments in lunch.
That brings me to a question I have for you. So you're amazing at building relationships, networking.
Mm-hmm.
That takes being present,
Yeah.
right?
sure.
Being all there.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do to make sure that you are present with the person you're with, whether it's at a dinner, whether it's at a lunch, whether it's passing for just a little bit? What do you do?
So my phone is like, we all have the problem. It's an electronic leash.
Yeah.
And you and I, and we've all done it, where you even try to put it down or you put it in front of you. And then it's just like, it's crazy.
Yep.
And I haven't been incredible at it, but I've tried to just now put it away. And magic happens.
Leave it in the car.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Literally leave it aside. I guarantee you I have a text going right now, but we're having a present conversation.
Yeah.
That has been a game changer for me. And I've only done it for the literally last 90 days where I set it aside. I probably have 100 and something texts that I check it like at one point, and then I check it again at night, but I don't check it during the day.
Because most stuff can wait.
Yeah.
You know,
there's
most-
not that many emergencies out there that really need. Someone's going to find you if there's something happens.
Yeah, most stuff it's not really an emergency.
Yeah.
It might be to that person. They think this is so important, but it's like, take a step back. It's really not that important.
No.
It can wait an hour, 2 hours,
That's
a
right.
day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So one thing I've built off my business is a sense of urgency of always getting back to people.
Yes.
I get back to people quickly,
It's good.
but not like
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Right. Don't need
24,
to.
24 hours. I have a policy with myself and my business.
Yep.
Always, always, always get back to someone within 24 hours.
Yeah. I love it.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be
I
24
think it's-
minutes.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Right?
Yeah. And people will get used to that with you.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'll send Devin and he'll get back to me 100%, but it might be in the afternoon, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
If you respond immediately to every single thing, people are going to be like, oh, I'll just text them whenever I want, as opposed to like on your schedule.
Yeah. Then I used to do that.
Yeah.
And then I started getting things at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Right.
goodness gracious. And then 3 a.m. hello, did you get
Yeah.
my question?
Right.
4 a.m, are you
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
Right.
So
I think one of the missing pieces that most people miss when they go to any kind of event, you're great at this. You've been, so I do, those lunch things I've done. I still do these dinner meetups.
we got one coming up next month, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
October 2nd.
October 11th is the one that you got to come to.
That one's here or in Utah?
That one's in Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the one. So I have 100 people coming to that one.
I'll be there.
Yeah, sweet. So love to have you.
Maybe I'll drive the Porsche.
You're
I'll drive the
you
Porsche
should.
out.
You'd be there and you'd make it in 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
from here. So,
Not the way I drive, dude. I drive like a grandpa.
oh, do you?
It's so bad.
yeah, you're like 10 and 2 and
Oh, dude.
yeah.
I'm like, my wife gets so pissed at me.
Yeah.
I'll be in like the slow lane
Right.
and getting passed by like semis.
Yeah.
She's like, you're in a freaking sports car.
Yeah.
And she's just got a lead foot.
What do you think those semis are thinking too when they see this Porsche parked in the in the fast lane? It's like, what is your problem?
Like, drive that
Yeah,
thing.
that thing is designed. It's like a caged animal in there.
Yeah,
right?
every once in a while I open it up, but generally I'm just putzing along.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So I do these. So I've invited you to. We've done some schmooze. I think I've invited you every time I come here. So I've done this. Never do lunch alone, but I do these groups now. So that's all I did. It's like, hey, we're just doing a dinner, and I hit you up on a random text.
The
say, hey,
two
Devin.
I've been to are amazing.
Yeah. So I think we had a billionaire come into one and tell his story. Insane that Cohen.
Oh, he like owns all of Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was.
I got to get him on the show.
Yeah, you really should.
Like-
I bet you. I mean, it might be some.
He literally
It'll take
owns
some work to get him on.
he owns all of Phoenix.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because
Yeah.
we had like this private room.
Yeah.
And everyone in this room is pretty successful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're all moving
Yeah.
and shaking.
Right.
We had like the owner of Spinato's Pizza in there. Jared Vidalis, great friend of mine,
Yeah.
just crushes it in real estate.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of good people in there.
Yeah, that's right.
And the billionaire, I forget his name again.
Cohen is the last name.
Yeah,
think.
Cohen. I
think
forget
it's
his-
Andrew.
Andrew Cohen, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's done like presenting everything that he does to us, and then just I don't know, he just like slips out the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
back door
Yeah.
and like there's
Yeah.
like a
Through the curtains. It's like this curtain right here. He slides through there.
and everyone's
Yeah.
just like,
He like
there was a door
disappeared.
there. It was insane, dude.
It was. Yeah, in his presentation, he had Google Earth. So he had on his laptop, he had a Google Earth, and then he had these yellow pins that were dropping down on all the land leases he had around the globe.
Yeah.
And it was like dropping in. It was fascinating, right? So fascinating.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I started thinking because, guys, just to put this in perspective, he had Google Earth, like Sean was saying, and it like was a zoomed out version, and you see all these little like dots everywhere. And then he starts zooming in, and just like he goes into Phoenix,
Yeah.
and he literally owns the entire city.
Yeah.
I started thinking like, wow, when I go there, he owns that and leases it to this
Yeah.
business. When I'm there, this
Yeah.
is where I
Right.
buy groceries. This is where
Yeah.
I do this. This is where I get my car washed. He owns
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah. It is insane.
To that point, when you get around these kind of people that are
Mm-hmm.
just on this other level, what does it do for you from a mental standpoint?
Mm-hmm.
From just, I'm a firm believer everything is energy. Like
Yeah.
this table is made up of energy,
Yeah.
just moving
Right.
at a different
Yeah.
frequency than
Yeah.
you and I.
Right. Sure.
Nothing is stagnant. Everything
Yeah.
is energy. So getting around those people that move and shake at a different frequency, what does that do for you?
Well, I think you touched on it earlier. Like your mind just all of a sudden expands, right? Because you go in there, you might have your vision is like maybe capped out at this, but when you're around people that have a greater vision and are doing like you said, hey, they have a land lease here, everywhere. Imagine what it took to get to that point, and all of a sudden your vision goes from here to wasn't your mind when you left there? I mean, how did you feel? You left there, and it was like.
I was literally on my phone, like trying to make something happen.
Yeah,
I was trying to
exactly inspires you. You're just like,
Yeah.
I got to go raise my game. You see where someone else's game is up here. It's inspiring.
Dude, I'm still on like a residual effect of it.
Yeah, sure.
I think that
yeah,
our lives are basically like a trailing effect of our habits and what we do, right? So like what I'm doing today
yeah,
is building my life 6 months from now.
that's really good.
It's just trailing behind, right? So if my habits slip now, my life's not going to slip tomorrow.
yeah,
It'll slip in 6 months or however long it takes.
Right.
Right. So when I left there, no joke, I had just gotten the R8.
yeah,
I'm pumped up. I'm like, I'm doing
Yeah.
well. I'm not doing well after
Yeah.
seeing this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make calls. I'm
yeah.
trying to
That's how I felt.
I'm trying to make things happen.
That's right. Yeah,
And when that was, I think it was almost a month from today, basically. That was August, right?
Yeah,
August something
that's right.
of last year.
yeah, that's right.
I've had hands down my best year. I've,
Yeah.
I think tripled my income from the year before.
Amazing. Yeah,
And it's just because when you get around these people, guys, so I'm imploring you, start getting around people that just they get you uncomfortable because of how much ahead of you they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're a product of your environment.
That's right.
If I were hanging out with all the time people that are out of shape,
Yeah.
lazy,
Sure.
lethargic, what am I going to be? I'm going to start eating
You're gonna start
cheeseburgers.
falling in line. Yeah.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
drinking soda.
That's
I'm not
right.
going to go to the gym. I'm going to
Yeah.
be out of shape.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
If I'm moving and shaking with people that are got abs, probably going to have abs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I hang around you.
I'm working on
I
the
went
dad
to
bod.
Lake Powell with you.
That was
Yeah, you had abs.
that was
You had
before-
good abs on that trip.
that was before the baby's on the way.
Yeah, the dad
I'm putting
bod.
on the sympathy weight with the wife.
But you're absolutely right. It inspires you to leave there and just go, wow. And your vision goes from there, and you're just like, look how much more I can possibly do. We just
Yeah.
put limits on ourselves,
Yeah. It's so true.
right?
I can tell people are listening to this, whether they're on the treadmill, if they're in their car, they're just thinking, yeah, I get it. These guys, they're successful business owners. Like, I'm driving to my 9 to 5. Like, how does this really apply to me?
Sure.
Guys, it applies to everybody. So speak to that of like how this can be used if you're a W-2 employee just going into your job.
Yeah.
How can you start using these networking skills, these things where you're connecting with people to move up the corporate ladder if that's
Yeah.
your goal?
Sure. Yeah. So I had someone actually ask me about this because I talked to him about you shouldn't do lunch alone, but he's like, I got a 9 to 5 and I'm work at the office and what shall I do? And it's like, well, I believe in order to progress in what you're doing, you should build relationships. It's all about relationships at the end of the day.
Right.
The greatest, the shortest distance between two people is a story and just connecting with people, right? So I was like, why don't you figure out if there's like certain people that you want to emulate or certain people that are in the chain above and just see if they wouldn't mind spending some time going to lunch with you. Go out and talk to someone literally down the hall that maybe you want to go to that department or maybe you want to become a manager, whatever it is. What if you spent time with those people that are in those positions? And then an incredible opportunity comes along. You've just positioned yourself because you have the relationship that you make that progression. Most people just don't think about that.
Make yourself the obvious choice,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you're around them all the time,
Yeah.
they always see your face.
Yeah.
They like you because you're being interested, not interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to be the obvious choice for that promotion or whatever
Yeah.
comes.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you start learning the lingo of different positions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Seek to understand in that conversation.
Yeah.
That opportunity comes up, the manager's like, oh, this person understands this position. They understand where we're going. They understand the vision of this.
Yeah.
They're a perfect fit.
Love it.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears then and we've talked about a lot of success, how you build relationships, and Kevin O'Leary being your business partner.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've done well in business. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Agreed.
So let's talk about maybe the biggest failure you've had.
Yeah.
Biggest setback.
Sure.
And what did it do to your mental?
Yeah.
Like, how did you overcome
Sure.
it? All that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Great. So 2009, I'm out of a job and I'm looking to make my first venture as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Just similar to what you did.
Yeah.
So what year did you walk away from cooking?
10 years later, 2019.
Okay. 2019 you walked. So that was my time. 2008 was a really bad recession.
Yeah.
And I decided I'm going to start my business 2009, literally in the wake of the recession. And I don't have an office, and I have two buddies that are kind of my business partners, and we're trying to come up with an idea. And we go to a sandwich shop. Literally, that's our thing. We have this awkward booth, and we're just eye to eye having this debate, on napkins, literally like, what do we want to do? It was like literally Hoagie Yogi was the name of the store. I still remember the booth, the color. I mean, literally, we're sitting in this
Napkin
booth.
notes?
Yeah, napkin
I love
notes.
it.
We're just like taking notes. We have our laptops out. We're like, what can we do?
I just thought that'd be a great business name.
Yeah.
Napkin Notes.
There it is. Yeah.
I don't know what the business would be.
It'd be
but
like Napkin Millionaire, whatever it is. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Some of the best businesses ever have been on a napkin, right? So anyways, we came up with this idea. We want to do a live events company. We love big stages. We love education. We want to go learn. We want to go do it. So we have this vision, and I start doing a plan, and I have this incredible spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet it says, I'm going to crush. Literally, I know my margin. I know my overhead. I know every single number on the spreadsheet. So I have this plan, and if everyone saw the plan and I presented the plan, they're like, wow, this business is going to do really, really well.
Yeah.
So I have a spreadsheet that says I'm going to be a millionaire, and I'm not a millionaire. I'm very little resources. My dad's was a bookstore manager for 40 years in the National Guard. My mom ran a small preschool. So it wasn't like had resources, but I was a resourceful person, right? So we're meeting, and now I build my plan. So now I have a couple of guys. I've built a plan, and now I'm going to go recruit. So I recruit a few people. And then the next stage was I needed money. And I was pre-revenue, and I went to 23 different investors, and I raised 1.5 million, which is a whole different experience. Sitting down with someone, convincing them I got an incredible plan, and we got incredible people, and this is what we're going to execute.
No revenue yet.
Zero rev. I haven't created $1, and give me 250 grand. Right? It was like, sometimes it was an absolute failure in those conversations.
I'm sure.
And just trying to get the passion going, and I finally raised
Getting the marbles out of your mouth.
Yeah,
and
100%. Yeah, it's also the imposter program. Like
Yeah.
I'm a my dad's a bookstore manager. What do I have to do with this incredible private equity or this angel investor guy?
Do you still get that now? The imposter syndrome?
Less, but yes, definitely creeps in. But it's the easiest thing for me to shut down.
Dude, like, I cannot speak to that enough. Like, most people just think, like, once you've hit it at a certain level, for me, I was like, when I become a millionaire, that was like me as a kid. When I'm a millionaire, I'm going to be just filthy rich. I'm not going to worry about anything. Great life. I became a millionaire in 2020.
Yeah.
Writing down all of our assets, all of our liabilities. It was like $1.134 million.
Right.
I saw it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I went to like,
Lifelong dream.
I went to my wife. I'm like, babe, we're millionaires. And she's like,
Love it.
she's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we're millionaires. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did it feel different?
No,
Yeah.
felt no different.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Yeah.
it's in the multis, but
Right.
it doesn't feel different.
No,
But like,
it doesn't. Yeah,
the
you're right.
craziest thing is when you start getting some success, you start thinking like, man, when I get here, it'll all be rosy.
That's right.
When I get
When I
here,
hit that point, it's all the when I. Yep.
guys, I'm telling you right now, you'll never feel that way. It doesn't matter. Like, billionaires still think,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not what you thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
right?
The ladders doesn't have an end.
No. And then I get it a lot, imposter
Yeah,
syndrome.
sure.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think if people listen to this, they think, oh, two successful guys, like they got it all figured out. No.
Right.
Like, we
Yeah,
have
you're gonna
bad
feel it.
days.
You feel it. That brain plays that trick on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've got bad days. You have bad days.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I feel like an imposter at times. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, who's going to listen to me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to put out this podcast. Who's going to listen to the
Yeah.
Mr. Burr show?
Right.
You
yeah.
know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But like, I'm sorry. I just had to interject
No,
with
it's
that.
true.
'cause-
It's a true point. It's a great point. But that's how I felt in pitching these guys. Like,
Yeah.
And I eventually you find there's just a couple of tricks that you can do when you go into a room, and when you go to pitch someone. It's how you carry yourself. Like the Sharks will tell you that they make a lot of their decision based on that walk down that hall.
Really?
So they're looking at the person. How do they handle themselves? Are they smiling? Do they seem confident? Are they like slumped over? Are they feeling like, is this person, because they know business is hard. You're going to get hit in the gut many times. Can this person actually handle the problems in business?
Yeah.
So get in there and smile and lift that chest out and really own it. Like you're there. You really belong and you're running that room. It's really how you have to, literally
Fake it till you make
physiology.
it.
Yeah, just get that chest out there and really smile. Go right up to someone. Don't be like sitting on the sides in the corner. Be right in the middle. There's someone like you that's got a group around you. I go right up to that group. I talk to you and it's like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Would you mind introducing me a couple of your friends? I mean, really take control, and you'll be shocked what that'll do for you.
So huge.
Yeah. So I raised 1.5. So if you were to get in a time machine and go back to that Sean that raised 1.5, I built a team and I had this spreadsheet that said I was going to crush. I felt like I was the king of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I came from nothing and I have 1.5 in my business bank account. And I've got this business now I can go launch and I'm gonna make a big impact. I mean, literally that day, walking around, I was like on top of the world, I felt like. So we go launch the business and Kevin says, in business, poo-poo happens, right?
Yeah.
And for me, poo-poo happened in that next 12 months. Anything you can think of, any problem you've had in your business, I probably had something similar, and I went through it. We had problems in operations. We had problems in sales. We had problems in marketing. My first event was with David Bach, Automatic Millionaire author. I think I paid him 60, 70 grand to speak for an hour, which is a great gig. So I pay him 60, 70 grand, and I do these direct mail pieces. Well, my direct mail hits a week or two after the event. So no one's there. You feel like burying yourself, burying a hole and then jumping in is what you feel like. I mean, it's the worst pit in your stomach. When you're a promoter and you're supposed to be incredible and there's no one in the room, it's miserable. So it was like I can just list off 100 different things I did wrong, and I failed miserably. And over the next 12 months, I blew through the 1.5 down to $3,500. And I remember that figure very well because it was on a Thursday. I had $3,500 in the bank. And I had to go in to our payroll company and say, don't run payroll tomorrow. I can't do automatic withdrawal on payroll. So no one's getting checks tomorrow. And I have $3,500. Payroll's $4,500.
How many employees?
Just a handful. So our payroll was $4,500 for the week. So we had like 5 or 6 people in there.
That's 5 or 6 people that are counting on you.
That have a family behind them.
Yeah.
Right? So Thursday hits, and I know, I've done the math. I have to go tell people, you're probably going to get 10% off. I hope I can make it up. And these are people that had faith and confidence in me.
Right.
And it's a miserable thing. It sucks. So my problem was I had a failing business, but then the pain, like you mentioned, was so much deeper. So a lot of business owners are like, oh, we're solving this problem. Well, why don't you just listen to your client a little bit longer to find out how that problem's affecting their life? Because for me, it was a physical in fetal position pain. And I still remember lying in my bed that night, and we had like texture on the ceiling. I still remember like making animal shapes out of the ceiling. I didn't sleep a wink.
Wow.
Because the next morning I had to go sit people down and just say, hey, we're out. We're done. We got $3,500 left. So,
And if you want to talk about imposter syndrome,
yeah.
then it really starts creeping in.
Yeah, what about the 23 investors that gave me 1.5?
Yeah, then you're gonna have lawsuits.
All that headache.
Oh,
You think about all that, and then you think about these 6 people and their families. They have to go home to their family and say, hey, honey, we don't have a check.
man.
And if you read about some of the great entrepreneurs, like Walt Disney went through that, couldn't make payroll many times, right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk got within a short period of time of not making payroll at Tesla, right? So the next day I wake up, I'm praying for a miracle, literally. Some miracle deposit. There's no miracle. So I go to lunch. I put it off. I haven't had any conversations till lunch because I'm just putting it off to the very last minute. So I go to lunch and I have a business partner at the time. We sit down in this awkward lunch and we're like, have we looked under everything? Have we pulled up every rock? Have we uncovered everything? Do we have anything we can call it? No one. There's no one.
We take
everything.
advances on credit
Nothing.
cards.
No, already
like-
done. Already done it. Already done it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Pain.
Wow.
And it's awkward. And it feels like you have this pit in your stomach that is just grinding you. So we're sitting at lunch and I get a phone call from my controller and I'm like, oh man, this is another bill or something I got to talk to this controller about. And Denise calls me and she's like, hey, Sean, I was just digging in the safe. I found $3,000 in petty cash. What would you like me to do with the $3,000? Like cash. So I'm like, hey, hang on to the cash. I literally got in my car and I screeched my tires to the office.
Yeah.
And I picked up the $3,000 in cash and I drove it over to the bank. And if you know, and you were quick and cash actually clears.
Yeah.
Immediately. That's the benefit of cash. So I go in to the teller and I give her $3,000 in cash. And then I say, I need to cut physical checks for each individual in my company. And there's multiple 6 checks, right? And I still remember, whatever reason, I still remember the color of the check. It was a brown check, this size. I remember everything about it. It just engraved this image on my mind of this check that I made payroll by that. And I remember signing everything. And then I put them in envelopes. I went back to the office and I handed each person the check, the contract, that I kept my end of the deal.
Wow.
And I made payroll, $1,000, $2,000.
Just barely got by.
Dude, yeah.
You were alive for another week.
Yeah, another week. Like, hey, let's. And so it wasn't even like Monday. That afternoon, after I handed out those checks, I was on the phone and I said, I'm going to do two things. So this is like 2010. I'm like, number one is I have to get good salespeople in. So a lot of you are following your salespeople. I love good salespeople. They get the bad rap. Are you kidding me? Salespeople are amazing with customers. There's some bad operations guys. There's some bad sales guys, but for the most part, salespeople give customers incredible experience. That's why they buy.
You're selling whether you know it or not at all times.
Yeah.
If you have a sales job or you don't,
Yep.
you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Right.
Perfect example. My wife the other night, she wanted to have pizza. Right? She's pregnant. She's got
Right.
a little craving for
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah.
I've been putting on some LBs.
Yeah.
So I've got a standard
those
of
abs.
Yeah, I got a standard
Yeah.
of my body I got to
Yeah.
uphold.
Right.
I hadn't gone to the gym. So I had to sell her on
Yeah.
why we shouldn't get pizza.
Right.
And we didn't eat pizza. We
Yeah.
ate healthy.
Right.
So literally sales is just convincing someone to do something that's in their best interest.
Yeah.
If you're selling the right thing.
Yeah. If you want to
Right.
reframe it, you can say, do you believe in influencing people, helping influence?
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? You just influenced your wife to say, hey, let's not do pizza.
Yeah.
I have my daughter here. They're the best salespeople on the planet Earth. The teenagers, when they're teenagers, they're really good at influencing you to do certain things, right?
They want their
They're
way.
very, very good at it.
Little kids are the best.
Oh yeah, they are. They're like unstoppable.
You
Like,
want to know why they're so good?
why?
They ask such a simple question.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. That's a great thing right there.
Can I have
Yeah.
this, Daddy? No. Well, why?
Yeah,
Because this is why you can't. But why?
yeah, yeah.
And they get to the
makes
root.
no sense to them.
They get to the root problem.
Yeah, that's
So-
right.
so
That's
you-
very good.
So you needed the salespeople.
Yeah, so I called some friends that were in sales.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, bro, I need help. You know, I've really I'm having a hard time right now. Can you help me? And they're like, yeah, you know, a couple weeks, you want me to come over? And I'm like, no, I need you to come over on Monday.
They thought you just needed money.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
I
we need money or
sales.
something. I have leads. I have people for you to talk to. I haven't gotten sales in. So can you come over Monday? And they're like, dude, I have a job. You know what I mean? But they came over after their job to help me
Oh wow.
because of the relationship. It was like, I want to help this person out. And they came at like 5 p.m. and helped me and started calling at night. And I still remember Wednesday was our first sale of the week, and it was $4,000. And it was like, I swear, the heavens opened and angels, you know, gave us $4,000 because it meant that I made payroll at $3,500, right, or $4,500 that week. So that was one. And then the second thing is I said, dude, on my own, I've failed miserably. And everything I've ever read, you have to surround yourself with successful, good people. I need to build relationships. So at my soul and at my heart and where I came, I made the decision from that point forward. I would not put my head in the sand and just roll up my sleeves and just grind it out. I'm going to look out of my lane and start building relationships with other people. And I did. I brought in 3 other partners, and then we went on a run. And within 12 months, I was able to pay off the original 23 plus interest
Heck yeah.
and brought the business, and we did a run. And it was only because these people that I brought in had incredible relationships, and their relationships brought in relationships, and we built this incredible company.
So you started seeing it expand.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer fact of relationships.
Yeah.
So that's when like the aha moment went off, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there would be no Disney without Roy.
Yeah.
Well, Walt was the visionary. Roy was the implementer.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have that relationship, you wouldn't be at Disneyland.
Yeah.
There would be no Disney. And if you look at those original billionaires, rarely is there a photo just of them, the old ones. It's like Steve Jobs, but he's with Wozniak,
Right.
who's the implementer of the technology, right?
Right.
And it doesn't matter what it is, but they've built their business based on relationships.
It's all about people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So guys, I implore you, wherever you're at, rewind this, listen to that whole explanation again, because there's so many gems in there. Something that I know to be true in my life is, and we kind of touched on this earlier, the more money you make, you don't become happier. The better cars you buy, you don't, they're fun for a little bit, but then you end up going 50 on the freeway like Mr. Burr. Like things don't make you happy.
Right.
Relationships do.
Yeah.
And when this is something no one likes to talk about. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Right. Yep.
No one lives forever.
Sure.
When I start really thinking about my death, like looking in the future, like, all right, when I die, what do I want that to be like? People aren't going to remember, oh, dude, Mr. Burke crushed it on social media.
Yeah.
He had all these cool cars. He
Yep.
went to all these cool places and traveled with his family. They're not going to remember any of that.
Yeah.
They're going to remember how I made them feel.
100%.
And how do you really make someone feel something? Through a relationship,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
So good.
you touched on it with like these people that you had on and you brought into your business. They had relationships with other people that grew the company.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you reached out to them, you're like, look, I need you, I need your help. They were already working full-time jobs. They came and worked for you because of the relationship you built. They
That's
wanted
right.
to do something for you because of how you made them feel
Yeah.
with that relationship.
Yep. That's right.
They wanted to go to bat for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So those people, when you're on your deathbed, hopefully it's a long time from
Yeah.
now,
140 years old for you.
at least.
Yeah.
Bionic.
Yeah.
But like people are going to remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
Right.
That's a great amen to that.
So, dude, you're a master at this stuff. I want people to kind of take a little stroll back in time when me and you actually met. It was it was at a mastermind on a houseboat.
Yeah.
That boat was freaking awesome.
It's amazing.
That was such a fun little trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, true story, guys. This was like right when I became like an entrepreneur. I hadn't really done much. I'd done a few flips, done some wholesaling, just got into infinite banking. And I was supposed to go out there with my mentor, Chris Noggle. And he hits me up like a day before. He's like, man, I'm so sick. I got COVID. I can't come. It was like during that whole
He
time.
was so bummed out.
I can't come. I can't make it. You should go. And I'm like, I had like that imposter syndrome
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like making up excuses. Oh, I kind of threw my back out at the gym, which I did. My
Right.
back was kind of hurting.
yeah.
He was like, dude, freaking go.
Yeah.
Like, go.
Yeah.
So I remember I go, I'm late. Like, I'm like running to get onto the boat. Didn't know
Yeah.
what boat slip it was.
Right.
I finally get on and like everyone's already in there. And I like walk in and everyone's in this living room. And I'm just like, hi,
Right.
I'm Devin, Arizona.
Yeah.
And then everyone starts talking. I'm like, oh God. But I remember that day, everyone's up at the top of the houseboat. And I go up there and I just sit down with you. Who else was there? Ryan and someone else. I forget who else was there. But you were just like, hey, what's your name? And what do
Yeah.
you have going on?
Yeah.
And that's how me and you built our
Right.
relationship.
Yeah.
It's just you asking about me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go back to that and like kind of that whole trip. That trip was cool.
That trip was cool. And also what I love about you, and I've seen you speak now a few times too. I saw you speak on Chris Noggle's stage.
That's right.
Seen you speak. I love the fact that you're willing to own your pain in your life. Like people throw around the word authenticity, right? Oh, you gotta be authentic. But if you're really willing to just get up there and stand and really kind of bare your soul like you did in front of those audiences, and you're so good at it, because you're just willing to just tell them the truth of what life's really about, and including the pain and the problems and the stuff we've all been through.
Yeah.
It makes it really relatable, first of all, but it's also the true, definition of authenticity.
Thank
right?
you.
And that's you. And that's what I noticed about your very first trip. You remember we did that hike?
Yeah.
It was like there's like arches. So we did the hike, and I remember spending like a big chunk of that hike with you
Yeah.
and learning about your daughter and some of the things you've been through. And it was like all that stuff. I was just so impressed. And one of the things you do extremely well that most people don't do is you follow up. Like I've done those dinners and
Oh,
stuff.
that's so true. People do not follow
Oh,
up.
they don't. Yeah, so Mike, if you go to any live event, you talk to anyone. If you get a referral, if you send me a referral, I'm going to follow up with that person, and I'm going to let you know how it went. People don't do that.
Right.
Go up to him and say, "Hey, Devin, how's your schedule? Based on what you said and where I am, I feel like there's a good alignment. How's your schedule on Tuesday or Wednesday next week?" And I come away with an actual appointment.
Yeah, because then out comes the phone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule.
Yep. That's
and,
right.
And most people that are at a high level, they live off of that schedule.
That's right.
Like if it's in my calendar, it's getting
Yeah,
done.
it's done. Yep.
If it's not,
Yeah.
probably forget about it.
That's right.
So that's huge. So literally asking people
Follow
like,
through.
hey, what do you got going on next Tuesday?
Yeah, and that was the beginning of a relationship for you and I, and we had many follow-ups.
Right.
You kept reaching out. I kept reaching out to you. I started inviting you, and we've built a relationship over. That was like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just a great trip, dude. They had the jet ski that has like the little shoes that
Yeah.
propels you in
Yeah,
the air.
you did it up there? Yeah.
I couldn't get up for more than like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But when I
Did
did,
you get the shot?
when I did,
money
I,
shot?
I felt like I was like freaking Iron Man.
Yeah. It was like you had that one moment where you felt it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just, I'm like, oh, nope. And then
Yeah.
straight down
Yeah, I think you actually had the best abs in the whole trip at the time.
at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very good abs.
They faded too much pizza.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it's like I got to figure out what that guy's doing in his routine because I'm not looking like that. My shirt off.
Dude, I think part of it is just like expectations and standards. I think life is a lot about standards.
Yeah, it's true.
Like if you have a standard of something in your life, you're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Like if most people, they have a standard to be a good mom, a good dad.
Yeah.
They have a standard to go to the gym. If that's your standard,
Yeah.
it's not negotiable. You're gonna do it because that's a standard of your life, not a goal.
Yeah.
It's a standard.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite Roy Disney quotes is when priorities are clear, decision making's easy. Right?
So true.
So if if your priority is to do this, then do you ever have to decide if you're going to go eat pizza one night?
No.
You know what I mean? If your priority is to take care of your daughters and spend time with your family, then it makes it easy for a decision to say, hey, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm actually going to spend time with my loved ones.
100%.
Yeah. If that priority is not clear, then it could be wishy-washy. Well, maybe you're not. You talk yourself out of it.
If priorities are clear,
Yeah.
decisions are easy.
Yeah.
It's so
This is
true.
exactly what you were saying.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Because I've had many times in my life where I have a goal of getting up at 3 a.m. so I can get everything done before everyone else is awake. And it just doesn't happen. Alarm goes
Right.
off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll hit snooze
It's a painful
once.
alarm at 3 a.m.
I'll hit snooze once. That turns into twice. And then
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right,
Right.
screw this.
Yeah.
But if I make it the priority, which I've
Yeah.
done in the past,
Yeah.
because I want to get into a certain shape by X date,
Yeah.
and I know the only way to do that because I have this meeting, I've got this on my schedule,
Yeah.
I've only got this time during the morning hours.
Yeah.
It is a priority. I have to do it. Then you start reverse engineering your life to make sure that priority gets done.
That's right.
For instance, instead of the phone being on my nightstand, it's across the room.
That's right.
So when I hear the alarm go off, I can't just turn over and hit snooze. I got to get
there
up
you go.
out of the bed.
Yeah, it's an easy decision.
I got to get out of bed.
Right.
I got to turn it off.
Yeah.
And then if I put it by the sink, I got to get up, turn it off, splash water on my face.
Yeah.
Now I'm up and going.
Yep.
So
It's important. I think the priority is an important piece. So, like, if you want to get in good shape, go sign up for a fitness competition, or go sign up for a Tough Mudder in 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
if
yeah.
that's your priority, it's really easy to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
I've made this my priority that I'm going to hit this marathon, or I'm going to hit this body competition, or whatever it is, and that date is on the calendar. That means it's your priority is on the calendar. Then I there's no excuse. I'm waking up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
putting that phone across the room this time. I'm not going to go with like
There's no snoozing.
snooze. Yeah.
there's
right?
no snoozing. Yeah, it's so true, guys. I'm telling you, take notes on this because, and Sean is one of those guys. He's very humble. You would never guess how successful he really is, but the dude makes moves. So take notes on what he's saying. Share this with people because at the end of the day, the amount of success you have in your life, the amount of money you make, I think is directly correlated with how many people you help. It really is.
I'm going to take that one.
It really is.
That's really good. I
'Cause-
like that.
And some people, they think, well, yeah, you guys have all
really
this
good.
knowledge about taxes. You have your business tax hive,
Yeah.
which, guys, if you're a small business owner, I'm telling you right now, the biggest eroder of taxes
Yeah.
or the biggest eroder of wealth is taxes.
Yeah, 100%.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So your company you have with Kevin O'Leary
Yeah.
is Tax Hive.
That's right. Yep.
So people can go on there and engage with that community, see how it can help them save on their taxes.
That's right.
I do infinite banking. I've got trusts and foundations in place, and I multiply money. And people are thinking, gosh, obviously you guys can help people. What can I do? Share the episode. That's indirectly helping somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? Share this with other people, and then keep doing what you guys are doing right now, which is listening to podcasts, read books, strengthen yourself, because the more valuable you become, the easier it is to help other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
So share this episode with everyone you guys know. Share, because that helps people. And that's you indirectly helping people. So guess what? You're going to inevitably start becoming more successful. Things are going to align. I think the universe has a crazy way of just kind of throwing things at us when we're ready for them.
Yeah.
And you might not be ready for success yet, but you will soon. Just keep working on yourself.
Yeah. I think a great 30-day challenge for the people watching is you have a commute. Like I drove to Phoenix this morning. It was a good 45-minute commute. For the next 30 days, Monday through Friday, just turn the music off, put in the Mr. Burr show. I mean, you're going to get 2 hours of incredible content. And think what that could do to your mind. What if you did that for 30 days? And you're talking about it, half hour to an hour of day of feeding that brain. And what will that do for your business? So 30 days is the challenge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because in life, guys, where you're at is always compared to where everyone else is at, right? In the world of money, how well you do is just compared with how well everyone else does, right? So if everyone else isn't listening to podcasts, if everyone else isn't reading books, and you are, you're setting yourself ahead just by doing that.
Yep.
And then the biggest thing that I've found in my life, and I'm sure you can agree to this 100%, is you can learn and take in content and study up on stuff, and not much is going to happen.
Yeah.
You got to act on those things you learn, right?
Yep.
You got to implement these things.
Yeah.
So tell people, for all the business owners out there, small business owners, tell people how they can actually benefit from, again, they're hearing this stuff, but tell them how they can benefit from a tax standpoint with your company, Tax Hive.
Yeah, so I have a good friend. I'll give you an example. So I have a good friend who has a marketing firm. He's done really well. He didn't pay taxes for like the first 3 years of his business. And then this year he got hit with $80,000 in tax bill.
Not fun.
Not fun. He came to me and I was like, well, how are you set up? All of his business was in his own name. He had zero structures in place. And he got hit.
He was just doing 1099s?
Yeah. Just $80,000.
But didn't know better.
Didn't know better. He's like, because out of the back of his mind, he's like, oh, taxes, I'm going to put it out. I'm dealing with all these crocodiles in my stuff, so I'm going to put taxes way out of my mind.
Yeah.
And people got to understand that, like, if you're a W-2, you're an employee, you can take up to 10 deductions is all. And most of those you actually can't take or don't take. When you become a business owner, no one sits you down and says, Mr. Burr, you have a whole treasure chest, and the whole code is written for business owners. That's what makes our whole country. I mean, that's the fabric of America is these business owners. We want to give the business owners incentive to build their business. That's what's so great for our country.
It's like 7,700 pages or something, right?
Yeah.
The tax code?
Yeah.
The majority of them?
That's right.
How to pay less taxes.
Yeah. How to pay less.
Incentives.
Yeah, that's right. And so you can take up to 1,400, but no one sits that entrepreneur down and says, hey, look. So they end up looking at it like a W-2 person, and they don't take advantage of this business owner deal, and they just don't take the time. So pound for pound, if you just carve out a few minutes of your time to just say, hey, while the game's going, the buzzer hasn't sounded, I'm going to actually do a tax plan that's going to save me tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. It's like you said, it's the hardest thing that erodes businesses. And if you just take that little time, pound for pound, it's going to pay you better than anything you can do.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
Because guys, what we don't understand usually is we start this business, and I was guilty of this. I started a business, and I'm like, I'm gonna make all this money. I'll pay my taxes, kind of like your guy did.
Yeah.
I'll pay my taxes. Obviously, I'm gonna make all this money. Of course, I'll pay my taxes. I'll be able to.
Right.
But then you start deploying money. You start putting money in different places, and then the tax bill comes. You're like, oh, crap.
It sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to taxes, estate planning, trusts, these things that protect your wealth, protect your Put it this way, guys: the higher up on the flagpole you get, the bigger of a target you are. So
Yeah.
you start getting all these assets.
Yeah.
Now you got a target on your back that
Sure.
people want to come take it.
Yep.
It's the I
100%.
think it's called Willie Sutton law. Like when you get some, Willie Sutton was like an old bank robber back in the day, and infamous bank robber. And he was asked like, "Why did you rob banks?" That's where all the money was at.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's right.
when you start getting all this money and all these assets, people want to take them from you. So all you have to do is a little bit of planning.
Yeah. That's right.
Tax plan to make sure that you're not paying the IRS more than what you should pay them.
Yeah.
That's what the tax code
Right.
is.
Yeah. That's right.
Set up an estate so that you have things protected into a trust. That way, if anyone tries to sue you,
Yeah.
it's in a trust.
That's right.
They
They
can-
can sleep at night.
Yeah, they can send a letter to the trustee,
That's right.
which would be you.
Uh-huh.
You just don't accept the letter.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So
Those are tools that are designed for business owners.
yeah,
Most people just don't take advantage of it.
and your company, Tax Hive, that's what you guys do.
That's what we do.
You
Yep.
guys try to save small business owners
Yep.
as much on taxes as possible.
Yes. Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
So how can people connect with you on that?
So go to taxhive.com. There's a business blueprint there. It's a free business blueprint. Ask you 17 questions about your business. And then it spits out a report that shows you some areas that you can take advantage of right now. So we put tons of value on TaxHive. So even if you don't engage with TaxHive, go to TaxHive to learn more about some great strategies that you can use right now to save yourself money and really, put that money to work in your business and build your business,
Love it.
right?
Love it. So think about it this way, guys. If you make $1 million with your business, and normally you're going to pay about 40%, right?
Yeah.
So you got $400,000
That's right.
going to the IRS, and who knows what they're spending it on, right?
Right.
I don't even know how how are we in a deficit?
Right. I know. You would think.
All this money that gets
Yeah.
paid to them.
They sure spend a lot.
So
Yeah.
$400,000 going to the IRS. Imagine if you could cut that in half, let's say.
Yeah.
You got 200 grand going to the IRS now because you implemented loopholes in the tax
Yeah.
code that's what they're there for.
That's right.
You got $200,000 now. What can you do with 200 grand?
Yeah.
You can reinvest it. If you reinvest 200 grand, are you going to make probably more than $1 million the next year?
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
with all things considered.
Right.
So now you've got even more savings.
That's right.
That's how, guys. This is how
So
the rich
smart.
get richer.
Yeah.
They stop eroding wealth by paying the IRS too much,
Yeah.
paying too much interest to third parties,
Yeah.
and learning how to protect and preserve their capital.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I love it, dude.
I love it.
You're a wealth of knowledge,
Thank you, Devin.
and
Appreciate it.
I love you, man. I love that we're friends and
Yeah.
we've built this relationship we have.
Yeah.
It's been fun, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to be out in Utah, man.
Let's do it.
It's gonna
Let's
be
line
fun.
it up. Yeah. You're coming out. I guess it's a few weeks from now.
Yeah,
Be great to have you out.
I just got to get the green light from wifey.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, the further along we get
You're
to
right.
the
The closer to
pregnancy,
the date. Yeah.
she's just like,
Yeah.
you leave and I am killing you.
Right.
And then I won a trip in March to New Zealand
Ooh.
with some of the life insurance companies
Sure.
I write with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I won that trip.
Wow.
Fully qualified in like February.
Jeez.
And
Amazing.
I'm like all excited about going. It's
Yeah.
in March. So
Right.
baby's due in November. I'm
Okay.
thinking,
There you go.
"Hey, we can go together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
bring the baby. Maybe family can have her. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, we're
Right.
not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not taking a trip to New Zealand with a baby.
20-hour flight. Yeah.
She's like, it's not happening. I was like, so I'll go? She's like, the hell you
yeah, exactly. Nice try, man.
So we'll see how it goes,
Yeah.
man. But I'll probably be out to Utah.
Yeah.
What's the weather going to be like then?
It's going to be perfect.
Yeah?
Perfect for you. Yeah.
Cooler than here?
Cooler than here. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it here. I mean, I spend my daughter's from here, so I'm down here, especially all winter long. It's an
Yeah.
amazing time to be down here.
Just not during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the summer, guys.
Yeah.
If you've never been to Phoenix, Arizona,
Yeah.
don't
experience.
come.
Yeah.
Don't come for like 3-4
Yeah.
months out of the year.
Right.
Unless you got a pool
Right. Yeah.
and you got to have
You
AC.
don't even- yeah.
Just go directly from your AC'd house
Yeah.
to your AC'd garage.
Yeah.
Crank on that AC'd car.
Yeah.
Get to where you're going.
Yeah.
And beeline it to the AC'd building.
Yeah. Amen.
Just don't stay out
Yeah.
in the AZ heat.
Yeah.
But dude, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you
Been an
so
honor.
much for coming
Thank you
on.
so much.
Again, guys, share the episode with anyone you know that can get value from it. Also, check out taxhive.com.
Taxhive.com.
Taxhive.com to go ahead and see how, as a small business owner, you can save on your taxes and just keep more of the money, because making money's not easy. It can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen. Yep.
And keep more of it. That means that you can multiply it. So it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.